Well, as a simple introduction, my name is Michael Marsubian, and I'm working in the store that is owned by my father, Richard Marsubian. It's a smoke shop, and one of the many goods which we sell are e-cigarettes, which has become an increasingly large part of the nicotine-using market. In addition to being, sort of a new product to sell, it is interesting from a public health standpoint because you're talking about offering a replacement for a cigarette that does most of the things that a cigarette does. There's that oral fixation of it. There's the nicotine. You actually get nicotine in the hit, and there's the fact that they look and taste and feel a lot like the type of cigarette that a person who's a smoker would be used to. I've been told, I don't know this for sure, but I've been told that about 20 milligrams is a standard cigarette amount of nicotine to have. The ones that we sell go from 6 milligrams up to 36 as far as their potency. You use one of these just by simply puffing on it. They're ready to go right out of the box, so that's an extremely convenient option. This is actually my favorite one. It's the e-cigar. It feels really good just to have that thing in your mouth when you're driving. The thing that most people do, that I see coming here, is they'll start with the level around where they smoke at. Like someone who's like a 2-pack a day guy would go to the highest level. Someone who comes in, say she smokes a pack a day, might be more around a few times a day might be a more normal level. And they can either taper down or just stick with it. Some people like the nicotine. It's a very short-acting stimulant without too many side effects if you don't take it in excessive doses. There's things to be said for and against that, as much as there is, say, caffeine or other drugs. I do think there probably is some role for regulation at some point, because there is evidence to suggest that vaping some things at really high temperatures can lead to the formation of some types of cancer-causing chemicals. But it's all preliminary research done on small groups of individuals on technology that's already been in some ways surpassed. If you're talking about hitting a rather difficult moving target, if you're talking about doing like actual serious exhaustive public health studies, it might be too early to do that sort of stuff. Fundamentally, what you're doing is you're getting cigarette users and tobacco users to replace that habit, which is a known bad, with something that is a suspected much less bad. That's tobacco. That's pretty much guaranteed to take 15 years off your life if you start using it. I'd say it's probably more serious than caffeine, though, just because nicotine is a very habit-forming chemical, very high rate of dependency.
I can mix
Smokey Robertson and
no nicotine with nicotine and make it a smaller amount of nicotine, so I can sort of control the intake of my nicotine. And eventually try to quit.
She's old. Say that part.
This is a good try. I had a cigarette until today.
Hi, I'm Will. I tried quitting using e-cigarettes, and they made me really sick, and like really, really, really miserable. Like I have a preference for little cigars or cigarettes. And you don't inhale a cigar, right? You just puff on it. But it gives you just as much nicotine as one of those silly e-cigarettes do. On top of which, I know tobacco, people have been smoking tobacco forever. People haven't been ingesting glycerin. I can pronounce the word nicotine, and I clearly can't pronounce the word glycol or glycamine or phosphate glucomyazepine. Those aren't real words, obviously, but I know what's in this. We know what's in a cigarette. But a lot of people don't know what's in those weird juices they're buying, at a kiosk in the mall. At the end of the day, everyone's still enjoying a vice. And it doesn't make sense to substitute one vice for another and claim that you're free of addiction.